Today I will explain and demonstrate for you the illustrious history of an article of clothing many of you are familiar with. That would be male neckwear. Now, the neckwear of males originated in France with Louis XIV at his court. He received a regiment of Croatian soldiers. They had scarves tied about their necks in a fashion that was most pleasing to him, and thus he adopted this style. And thus was born the cravat, which cravat derives from the word Croat, meaning Croatian. And from his court, this style was popularized throughout all Europe. And the cravat he wore resembles this, except it was white. And originally it was made out of linen, but then the styles grew more elaborate, and it became to be made of silk and lace. There was even a point in which hundreds of knots were developed. And in the late 18th century, men would sometimes wear two, a black bow and a white one underneath. After the French Revolution, the styles became simplified, but one important note is of the introduction of color, modern fabrics, and lace was no longer in fashion, silk taking its place. Another thing of note is that in the late 19th century, the cravat, or ascot as it's known in America, due to its popularization in the Ascot horse races in England, it became more specialized. Meaning, for example, this, which I'm wearing, could be tied in a bow, or it could be tied like a normal tie, and it would just look like an enormous bow tie, like an enormous normal tie. But the knots became more specialized, meaning that the neckwear itself became smaller and smaller in order to make the knot more aesthetically pleasing. So instead of having this enormous bow, they would have a smaller bow like this, which this type of bow would be more appropriate in the late 19th century for informal occasions, etc., whereas this was still reserved for formal attire. So essentially by the end of the 19th century, you get three types of neckwear, three distinct types. This, the bow tie, originally the cravat bow, and the normal, considered the four-in-hand necktie, which is the standard male necktie. Now I will demonstrate for you an ability which many do not have, but I hope to enlighten many of you with. I will be able to tie this without a mirror.
Drum roll.
And by the way, the stick pin is important with certain type of knots in helping them not to become undone. And another fun fact, or I don't know if it's fun, but another fact is that many leaders, Muslim leaders such as Ahmadinejad, they do not wear neckties at all. Conservative Muslim leaders, even 100 years ago in the 19th century, when all men wore neckties, they would never wear European neckwear, even though they would wear the rest of the Western suit. And the reason is because they feel it is a cross of cloth and thus a Christian symbol, so they reject it.